All right, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit today about my old man strength standard. This is kind of something I've been doing for myself and some of my older clients because I coach a lot of masters guys, a lot of guys over 40. And, something I've talked about with some of them, and I feel like I'm going to kind of push it out to my audience a little bit, is that as we get older, we should still be strong. We should be jacked. Obviously, we're not going to always have the elite levels of strength, but if we're over 40 and we've been kind of working out a long time, we should have a good strength standard, and we should be strong. We should be fit. And so kind of some numbers that I've given as benchmarks for my guys to go for, and kind of what I've been doing lately is making sure that I can hit all these lifts myself all the time. I actually can obviously do more, but again, kind of practicing what I preach. And I feel like a good baseline standard for my old guys, my old man strength, my dad bod strength, we should be able to bench 315, should be able to squat 405, we should be able to deadlift 500, and do a minimum of 10 pull-ups. Okay. Now, obviously, I do my pull-ups weighted. I'm doing sets of 10 that day with a 25-pound plate. But I digress. At least with your body weight, you should be able to do at least 10. And one of the reasons I throw that in is as a body fat check, right? It's a body fat standard, because if you're fat, you're going to really struggle to do 10 plus pull-ups. A lot of guys will say when you give those strength standards, they're always like, well, you're just promoting guys to get real fat and hit those lifts easy. Well, no, I expect you to do them lean, okay? I expect you to do them lean. If we're going to talk about dad bod fitness and power building, you should have at least some visible abs or a flat stomach, right? You should have a flat stomach and be able to hit those. So pull-ups are a great body fat check because a lot of guys who are heavier can't do that. And, some people will chime in and say, I think those standards are insane, but are they? Are those standards really insane? When I was younger, and again, keeping in mind, I am not the only OG on these video platforms to say this. When we were younger, all us over 40 guys who trained in the serious gyms, there was an expectation that if you couldn't bench 3 plates, squat 4 plates, pull 5 plates, you didn't even have a base. Okay? In fact, I said this, and then you heard Lowbliner say once, I heard him say, and he agreed, and he said in a video years ago, Jason's right. He goes, dudes would kick your butt. Like if you were caught using gear and you couldn't hit those numbers, he's like, dude, people would kick your butt. And I don't remember that happening, but you got made fun of, okay? And that's something these kids who jump on a bunch of stuff are not realizing. Our generation, like if we couldn't do that, and I'm not talking about for power lifters, we're talking bodybuilders, the physique guys. The physique guys had those standards. The gym rats had those standards. That wasn't powerlifting standards. That dudes who cashed in their natty card, who couldn't hit those lifts, were considered to be pussies. They were made fun of. They're like, dude, you took shortcuts. You didn't even build a base first, man. What's that all about? You're lazy. And I knew guys, older guys who were lean and jacked who could just destroy those standards. Like I said before, I used to remember watching one of the guys who had the best physique in my gym when I was younger. This was well over 20 years ago. The guy was in his 40s, had a phenomenal physique. Dude came in and trained 3 days a week using like Menzer HIIT type stuff almost. Like Dorian Yates type training with HIIT. Everything was to failure. Dude's workouts were like 45 minutes. 3 times a week, in and out. And he did light cardio. On top of that, he just did less cardio and stuff. The guy could do 315 for an incline. I watched him do 2 or 3 reps a few different times on a 45-degree incline with 315. He didn't even flat bench. He just did incline. Okay? He did incline. Did that stuff. I watched the guy do sets of 8 with 405 on squats, like full squats. I used to watch a guy come in and do sets of 5-6 reps on weighted pull-ups, weighted chin-ups with 90 pounds. And in retrospect, I don't remember if they were pull-ups or chin-ups. He did one of them. He used to come in and do work sets with 2 plates. Okay? Guy had a 6-pack year round. Guy was in his 40s. Now that's old man strength, right? That is old man strength. You know, you got to look at that and go, yeah, that really, that really kind of sets a standard. That's a benchmark. Because it wasn't even flat bench, it was incline. And keep in mind, work sets. He didn't even ever max out on his squats. He would come in and do like 3 sets of 8 with 405. So when people tell me they're unrealistic, they weren't. We were all expected to do this stuff. Like when I was younger, so as we get older, these should be baseline strength. Because we should be strong. And I'm saying that as someone who is more focused on physique more and more, even from a bodybuilding perspective though. You should be able to do that. And if you can't, then we've got to question, do you really have as much muscle as you think you do? Maybe you're all biceps. Okay? It could be the case. Maybe that is the case. You know, and someone could say, well, I don't even do that. But you don't have to do those lifts. You don't have to do work sets ever on a bench press to have a 315 bench. You don't have to do that. An incline will build a 315 bench. All right, a leg press will build a 405 squat, as long as your back isn't weak. 500 deadlift, dude, rows, reverse hypers, hamstring curls, those things will build a 500 deadlift. You just have to come in and hit the heavy lifts every now and then. That's it. That's all that's required. Right? So these are reasonable. These are standards that I think the older guys should shoot for. I'm not saying you should be there. I think it is a target to aim for. To hit those lifts and then be able to do a minimum of 10 pull-ups. Now, next tier would be, can you squat 500 and do 20 pull-ups? Now, that's getting up there. That would be the next tier above it. But if you can do all those others, you're doing pretty dang good. And I think that that's kind of a standard that masters guys and over 40s guys should be aiming for. The Dadbod strength standard. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.